This is the second generation of the Porsche Panamera, the German sports car maker's luxury saloon. Well, Porsche refers to it as a saloon, but strictly speaking, it's a 5-door coupe with a hatchback to access the boot. All new from the ground up, it now offers an even more rounded blend of high-performance driver enjoyment and luxury saloon comfort, enhanced by a sophisticated array of cutting-edge onboard and chassis technology. Porsche has even improved the way it looks, though still not a classic beauty. The second-generation Panamera's styling is far less heavy-handed than before, especially around the rear, where there is now a more homogeneous resemblance to the trademark Porsche 911 range. It's a difficult car to pigeonhole, meaning its rivals are as diverse as the BMW 6 Series Gran Coupe, the Maserati Quattroporte and Mercedes-Benz CLS. It will also appeal to those who want a luxury car but want to avoid the almost default choice of the Mercedes S-Class. Longer and stronger, the redesign has also made it much roomier on the inside, especially for passengers traveling in the rear, while the new structure is lighter, stronger and more versatile than before, allowing not only for the executive long wheelbase versions, but also a shooting brake style estate variant, likely to be called the Panamera Sport Turismo. Performance-focused engine range. The engine lineup closely resembles the original Panameras, but with a new range of power plants, again in petrol, diesel and plug-in hybrid choices. At the less expensive end of the range, a turbocharged 3.0-litre V6 turbo petrol engine drives the rear wheels, on the Panamera and Panamera 4 models. The 4 will crack the 0 to 62 miles per hour time in 5.3 seconds, so it's no slouch. Both the 4S and the 4S diesel 4-wheel drive have twin-turbo motors, a 2.9-litre V6 with 440 horsepower for the petrol and a 4.0-litre V8 for the diesel, producing 422 horsepower. The same 2.9-litre engine features in the E-Hybrid versions, although the electrical assistance sees power rise to 462 horsepower. Porsche claims up to 31 miles of electric-only driving with an official fuel efficiency of 113.0 miles per gallon. Crowning the range is the turbo. Its 4.0-litre engine has 550 horsepower, enough for a 190 miles per hour top speed. All Panameras have an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, under Porsche's now familiar PDK branding. There's no manual option. More of the latest technology. New technology for the latest Panamera includes a driver assistance system called InnoDrive, a much improved multimedia system, and a 3-chamber air suspension package for even better ride quality. Plus, there is rear wheel steering for greater agility and stability, and a more efficient electromechanical active anti-roll stabilization in place of the previous hydraulic setup. They are also completely integrated into a new system called Porsche 4D Chassis Control that comes as standard. Porsche 4D Chassis Control coordinates all of the driving tech into one holistic package, giving the Panamera remarkably fleet-footed responses, especially for a car that is over 5 meters long. Porsche Panamera Saloon Model History. June 2016, second generation Panamera available to order in 4S, 4S diesel and turbo guises, with first deliveries in November. All of the initial range feature 4-wheel drive and 8-speed PDK automatic gearboxes. September 2016, more efficient 4E hybrid plug-in available to order, with first deliveries expected in spring 2017. November 2016, deliveries for all begin in spring 2017. Read the full Porsche Panamera Saloon review to find out if it really does combine sports car dynamics with luxury saloon opulence. Very powerful, very fast. Especially the turbo 4-wheel drive standard on most models. 8-speed dual-clutch automatic. Common to all. If it's performance you want, you've come to the right place, because the Porsche Panamera has it in spades. Turbocharged V6 petrol is the least expensive Panamera. Panamera 4 and 4 Executive feature a 3.0-litre V6 petrol engine with a turbo, producing 330 horsepower and 450 Nm of torque from a very low 1,340 revolutions per minute all the way through to 4,900 revolutions per minute, which should means it performs with impressive flexibility. Like all Panameras, it's fitted solely with an 8-speed dual-clutch PDK automatic. In rear-wheel drive form it'll reach 164 miles per hour. But both 4-wheel drive versions are slightly slower at 162 miles per hour. Acceleration times vary, with the entry-level Panamera posting a 5.5 second 0 to 62 miles per hour time, compared with 5.3 seconds for the Panamera 4 and 5.4 for the 4 Executive. While it's amply quick, many will want more. which is where the 2.9-liter twin-turbo 4S and 4S Executive come to the fore. Power's ramped up to 440 horsepower, with big torque of 550 Nm on song from 1,750 revolutions per minute and 5,500 revolutions per minute, meaning it's no slouch. The 0 to 62 miles per hour blast takes 4.2 seconds, 4.3 for the long wheelbase Executive, and top speed is 179 miles per hour. The lower weight of the smaller 6-cylinder engine in the front also helps it to feel lighter on its feet, particularly in the corners. Mighty V8 diesel. The 4S models are hardly shy in performance terms, but with the diesel version you at least get some sensible fuel efficiency thrown in, although you're unlikely to see the official claim of 42.2 miles per gallon, impressive from a 4.0-liter V8. There's a monstrous 850 Nm of torque to go with its 422 horsepower, and thanks to sequential turbocharging, meaning it uses a smaller turbo at first to provide a fast response, changing over to a bigger turbo as engine speed increases. Big torque arrives at a super low 1000 revolutions per minute, which means you barely need to accelerate beyond idling to get the most from the 8-cylinder engine. Surging from 0 to 62 miles per hour takes as little as 4.3 seconds and top speed is 177 miles per hour, making this the fastest diesel saloon on sale. It makes a charismatic noise, too, and given the additional fuel economy that diesel fuel provides, this version of the Panamera is perhaps the best all-rounder of the range. It's also expected to be the best-seller. Plug-in hybrid for low CO2 emissions. Headline figures of 113 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 56 grams/km will grab the attention of company car drivers fortunate enough to have the Panamera E-Hybrid on their employer's choice list. Porsche claims that the plug-in Panamera can provide up to 31 miles of electric-only driving range, but this will require the most careful of driving. This may be difficult when it's got 462 horsepower and 700 Nm of torque on tap from 1,100 revolutions per minute. That's enough for a 3.1 second 0 to 62 miles per hour time, 3.2 for the Executive, and a 172 miles per hour top speed. Not quite Tesla Model S levels of acceleration, but the Panamera is more fun to drive. Flagship Panamera Turbo. The headline act is the 550 horsepower turbo. This has 770 Nm of torque, can do 0 to 62 miles per hour in as little as 3.6 seconds. The Executive's 0.1 seconds slower, reaches a top speed of 190 miles per hour and has lapped the famous German Nürburgring fast enough to set a new record for saloon cars. It still weighs 1,995 kilograms, but you'd be hard-pressed to tell that even the merest hint of intent to misbehave sees it rocketing up the road. Overtaking is a blink and you'll miss it affair, but all the while this massive car remains indefatigably composed. Oh, and the noise from that 4.0-liter V8 is rather bewitching, too. Sport Chrono Package. All versions of the Panamera are available with the Porsche Sports Chrono Package, which adds a circular driving mode selector to the steering wheel, giving you a choice of normal, sport, sport plus and individual settings. In the middle of the selector there's also a sport response button, which you can press to instantly prime the car for 20 seconds of maximum performance in any given situation. This works very well. With engines this powerful, it's no wonder that Porsche has fitted four-wheel drive as standard to most Panameras, save for the entry-level model, as it helps maintain traction. You can never so occasionally detect how much it's struggling to do this, especially in the 4S diesel, but it never becomes a significant issue. Similarly, the 8-speed transmission does occasionally feel a touch abrupt, but otherwise does a good job of managing so many ratios. Paddle shifters on the steering wheel allow you to take control on demand. The Panamera's fastest acceleration times are recorded with the optional Sport Chrono package, using the Sport Plus driving mode, which includes launch control. Non-Sport Plus acceleration times are 0.2 of a second slower. Thrilling but poised, right across the range belies its size on twisty roads, but very stable at high speed. Optional extras make it even more capable. This is where the Porsche Panamera's breadth of ability really impresses, as it offers limo-like comfort but can go round corners almost as well as a proper sports car, though it should be noted that we have so far only sampled the car fitted with rear-wheel steering system and air suspension. Active chassis tech boosts agility. The optional rear-wheel steering helps to make the car turn more easily at low speeds yet also feel more stable at high speeds. Combined with the Sport Chrono package, It also helps the Panamera become noticeably more agile in the most focused Sport Plus setting. This is a car you can drive very quickly when circumstances allow, for example, sections of the German Autobahn without speed limits, where the car feels very much at home. The air suspension is covered in the comfort section. We are yet to test the active anti-roll system, but this will likely reduce the rolling motion in corners to near undetectable levels in everyday driving, since the Panamera hardly leans much without it. Grip levels are high, and the steering both accurate and acceptably nuanced for a large luxury vehicle. However, the Panamera feels every bit its 2-meter width from behind the steering wheel, making narrow country lanes an occasionally nervous affair. Finally, a brief word for the new Porsche 4D chassis control. This is an overarching electronic brain that ensures all of the handling technology available on the car works in total cooperation instead of each component acting independently. It makes the car faster and safer. High-tech feel with large touchscreen and fewer buttons. Great quality of fit and finish. The Porsche Panamera is a pricey, premium car, but you won't have any trouble understanding where the money went from behind the wheel. Build quality is top-notch. Under the influence of Tesla replacing the massed ranks of individual buttons on the previous model's center console are sleek touch-sensitive panels. Above these sits a 12-inch widescreen display containing a new multimedia system that has been heavily influenced by smartphones, being relatively intuitive to operate, easy to customize and responsive to multi-touch gestures, such as pinching to zoom in the standard sat-nav. There are more screens either side of the central rev counter, the only analog instrument left in the car, aside from the dash-top clock you get with the Sport Chrono package, and another for passengers to play with in the back. All of which gives the Panamera a very modern air, one that Porsche acknowledges has been influenced by the success of premium electric car maker Tesla. Too much tech for its own good? Generally speaking, it's all fairly straightforward to use, but as usual with touchscreen-dominated in-car control interfaces, there remains a sneaking suspicion that buttons are still easier to use and less distracting for the driver. A point in case here is the central air vent, which is entirely operated from within the touchscreen display, including the angle you want to point it. You have to take your eyes off the road for far longer than you would with a conventional vent as a result. It smacks of Porsche doing something because it can, rather than because it makes things better. Air suspension offers great comfort. Roomier cabin, now more limo-like refinement and excitement. Well-balanced. Key to the aforementioned limo-like comfort is the second-generation Porsche Panamera's air suspension, which uses 3 air chambers, one more than the previous version, for maximum cushiness. Even the firmest of the 3 available settings feels tolerable on the motorway, while rougher surfaces leave it feeling a little unsettled. The softer settings will certainly keep you untroubled over all but the very worst potholes or bumps, even if you decide to go for the optional 21-inch alloy wheels. Air suspension optional, or is it? It's a good job the air suspension works too well, because until August 2017 Panamera 4S customers will be forced to pay an extra charge for it, as the regular suspension is unavailable until then. The turbo includes the cost within its basic asking price. Porsche is a sporty brand, so its customers generally expect to hear some engine noise in the cabin, and consider this a positive part of the experience, assuming the sound is a pleasant one. Sounds sporty in the new Panamera. This is particularly well managed, as not only are those sounds charismatic during more spirited driving, they drop away to virtual silence when you're simply at a cruise. For instance, your passengers will never suspect the 4S diesel is actually a diesel on the inside, and Porsche has this time elected to remove the diesel badges from the outside. This caveat aside, refinement is excellent. Wind and road noise is well contained right up to motorway speeds, where normal conversation is easily maintained. Simply put, if you've got a long way to travel and you like to go both quickly and comfortably, there is little to find fault with here. Although the less expensive versions of the Panamera are available to order, Porsche is yet to finalize the specifications for those models at the time of writing. Standard Porsche Panamera saloon equipment. Opt for the mid-range 4S and 4S diesel and you'll find yourself in a well-made luxury 4-seater, but it's not bristling with as much standard equipment as you might imagine at this price point. 4-wheel drive is part of the package, the wheels being 19 inches in diameter. LED headlights are fitted, while the taillights also utilize LED technology. Helping keep the Panamera stable at higher speeds is an electrically raised rear spoiler. There's a significant rethink in the cabin, with many of the controls operated by a brand new 12-inch touchscreen that doubles as a multimedia display. There are also two high-resolution screens either side of the centrally located rev counter. Ride comfort is managed by the controllable adaptive damping, although until mid-2017 all Panamera 4S models are spec'd with the optional air suspension system, too. Inside you'll find 8-way electrically adjustable front seats and dual-zone climate control. Choose the flagship turbo and you'll add 20-inch alloys with red brake calipers nestled behind them, while the extending rear wing splits in two for greater width and downforce. Air suspension is also part of the turbo package, as are 14-way electrically adjustable front seats. Optional Porsche Panamera Saloon accessories. Porsche is notorious for its lengthy options lists, which usually include plenty of items you might expect to get for free on such expensive cars, and while this has improved, you do still need to pay extra if you want a reversing camera, let alone the more up-to-date surround view parking camera system that cleverly gives you an overhead view of the car in relation to its surroundings. Both items are near essential in a vehicle that's over 5 meters long and nearly 2 meters wide. Optional highlights on the inside include seats with ever greater levels of electric adjustment and massaging functions, in both the front and rear, 2 grades of surround sound system, Bose with 14 speakers, or Burmester with 21 speakers for over 4 times the price, a TV tuner, rear seat entertainment package, and 4-zone climate control. We've covered the safety equipment such as the new night vision system in the relevant section below. There are also 2 further grades of LED headlight, culminating in the fully active matrix LED headlights with 84 individual points of light to turn night into day. Options to improve the handling. The really heavy-hitting options, however, all deal with handling performance. In addition to the rear wheel steering, sport chrono package and active anti-roll stabilization already discussed, buyers can also consider the carbon ceramic brake upgrade, though frankly the improved standard setup should do the job for all but the most demanding drivers. In addition, petrol models are available with a switchable sports exhaust, making the car louder on demand. Lots of active safety technology available. Advanced new InnoDrive co-pilot system night vision option. There's no Euro NCAP rating for the new Panamera, and curiously, Europe's independent crash test body generally doesn't test cars at this prestige level. But with part aluminium and high-strength steel construction, 8 airbags and highly sophisticated electronic stability control as standard, it should be at least as safe as anything else in this class. Optional safety equipment for the Porsche Panamera. Porsche does offer a number of options to top up safety levels even further, including night vision, which uses a thermal camera to help you spot pedestrians and animals earlier at night, complete with color-highlighted warning lane change assistant, which is basically a long-range blind spot monitor lane departure warning, which alerts you if you're about to cross out of your lane without indicating. The same camera that controls this also recognizes road signs and displays them on the dashboard. Adaptive cruise control, ACC, with stop-and-go function. The LED matrix headlights also count as a safety upgrade, since they aim to give you the best possible illumination at night without dazzling other motorists, which is achieved by constantly adapting the light beam. Then there's Porsche InnoDrive. This is a new system that uses sat-nav data to predict the road for up to nearly 2 miles ahead, and combined with the adaptive cruise control claims to optimize the engine, gearbox and braking, taking corners, hills and speed limits into account. This predictive data is then filtered via information coming in through all the car's onboard cameras and sensors as you drive. Apparently it makes the Panamera more efficient, and is yet another step on the road towards autonomous driving. InnoDrive is not available in the UK until 2017. Spacious for 4, but no 5-seat option at launch. Enlarged boot is more practical. Shaped tailgate brings a welcome dose of flexibility. The Panamera is a big car, and offers plenty of room inside for its 4 passengers. Porsche has hinted that it may offer a 5-seat version in the future, but the 5th seat will only be suitable for short journeys. Compared to the previous version, the latest Panamera has a great distance between the front and rear wheels, freeing up more room inside the cabin, which is especially noticeable in the rear. Similarly, the 495-litre boot is 50 litres bigger than before, and Porsche has done its best to shape it to make it better at swallowing suitcases. Fold the rear chairs over and this expands to 1,304 litres. Despite Porsche's insistence that the Panamera is a saloon, it's really a 5-door coupe with a large tailgate to access the boot.